And this tank is 60,000 gallons. How many taps are here, Jason?
Around 97,000. Give or take a little bit.
97,000.
97,000 taps. Each one of these tanks are 60,000 gallons. Pretty cool.
Good morning, good morning. It's time for a haircut and a beard trim. This is pretty rough looking. My wife said it's time. Go she said my beard's disgusting, I think. She said it's bushy. I look like, a wolf man. So, it's true. Time to get it trimmed up. So, yeah. It's going to be a blink of an eye for you. Boom. Much better. Much better. I got to do one more thing. Hold on. Yep. And that's a perfect haircut, folks. Tori, she always does a great job here with the Hermitage Great Clips. Thanks, Tori. Yeah. I like to give the shout outs to the people that do a good job here. So, yep. I feel much better. I was looking pretty rough. It was a rough May, man. Waiting for a bank loan. It just a lot going on. And, I feel better. So we are heading to Vermont today. So it's going to be Jess, Mike, Taylor, me, and Benny Biss 46. So Benny's coming with me. He likes these trips. And I like to take my team to places and give them life experiences that they would not normally have. Like, this is part of, I want my team to visit the farms that we bottle syrup from. The more that they can meet the families and understand what we do, the better. So I like it when my team gets to meet the people that they talk to on the phone or schedule shipments for syrup, and I think that's healthy, and it makes us a better company. It's all about experience. So none of them have been to Vermont other than me and Benny. So this is going to be new for them, heading to Vermont. And there's just some beautiful places to see, awesome restaurants. You know me, I know where there's good food. There's no doubt. You don't get this husky not knowing where to eat. And we're going to visit Forest Farmers in New York. Go see Mike Farrell over there. And then we are going to head over to the Vermont location the next day. And then, I don't know. I think this is it. It says office. Let's go there. That's a giant concrete bunker there, buddy. Oh, the farm stand. Look at this. Got the Parker's brand in here. What do we got? The new leaf. And some snow melter. This is a cool building. It's a bunker. It's got that big concrete on the outside. Yeah, it's a bomb shelter, man.
Yeah, just.
All right, so you're Jason.
I'm Jason.
Jason, you do a lot of the boiling.
Do boiling.
Run the ROs. You got projects going on. You're moving the R7 out.
Yeah.
You guys are getting 2 electro vaps, aren't you?
Yeah, we got one now and one coming this summer sometime.
Okay. You have 2 already?
We got one.
Okay.
And one goes here, and one goes to Vermont.
I got you.
2 more.
So you guys are going to make some of that nectar?
Yeah.
So this is the New York location.
Yep.
You got 5 people here.
Yep. 6 people.
So I saw just a couple of maintenance guys.
Yep. And Mike and Dan is our wood manager. He takes when we have H2A program here, so he takes care of them.
Gotcha. Do you have lodging on site?
Yeah, over at Bradley Pond.
Gotcha. So what do you call this location?
This is a New York Sugarhouse location.
New York Sugarhouse location. Then Bradley Pond, is that a site?
That's a road. That's the roadhouse.
Okay.
It's like right by the road, I guess. And then we have a woods pump house.
Do you pump sap from that location to here?
Yeah, it's like 5 miles, 5.5 miles.
Oh my gosh. What size?
3 inch.
3 inch. That's a heck of a system. How much sap's in that pipeline?
I don't know. It takes from Bradley Pond Roadhouse to here. It takes like 45 minutes to get like the first little bit of sap to come in.
All right, let's go. Concentrate tanks?
Actually, those are bulk tanks. We batch our syrups. So what we do is it comes off the evaporator, goes to a kettle, goes through the filter press, and then here to batch our syrup. And we get 20 to 25 barrels somewhere in there. And all those 20 or 25 barrels is the same bricks, the same light, same everything.
So you're not using cooling for these, you're using steam.
Steam, well, yeah, heat.
So you actually can heat the syrup through the coils. This is cool.
You know,
Yeah, right?
that's actually, it's still a cooling tank.
Oh, okay.
We're able to, our steam kettles in there, heat it up enough so the barrel's hot enough over here.
I see. You're actually, this is still cooling.
Yeah, we shut it right, we shut the cooling right off.
And then just keep the heat in the insulated tank. I got you.
Yeah.
You got some maple cotton candy box stuff. Holy smoly.
This is all,
This is the syrup?
It's a lot.
the left is all what we do.
Oh, so, wow. So this is coming our way, Jess.
I could eat all this and still be hungry.
I didn't introduce you to everybody. This is Jason. And Jason, what are you doing here?
I'm the sugarhouse manager,
Okay. And you used to do?
EMS,
And you like this more?
way more.
Because you don't have to give anything Narcan.
That's correct.
This is cool, man. This is a...
This rig here is our oil-fired rig.
Okay. The master down there?
Master, yep. We used that quite a bit last year.
Ooh.
It's the steam evaporator, which is on the other side, a little bit last year. Then we got an electric evaporator up here, up on the deck and far.
Right over there.
Yeah.
And then is that a steam rig there? That's the one that's pulling out? The R7?
The R7 is the smaller of
I got you.
the two, but yeah, that's our steam evaporator.
This is very cool. So your sap tanks are actually built into the concrete.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at these sap tanks. It's just permeate.
Yeah, I just water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, look at this plumbing. You see, if this was our place, there'd be purple cleaner everywhere. You see it on the purple glue. So you just have a ton of permeate in here still.
Yeah,
There's no diving board. I mean, we are up near Lake Placid. You'd figure there'd be some Olympic diving boards in here.
these tanks hold a little less than 60,000 gallons.
So each one is 60?
One, we have 4 of them for sap.
How deep are these things?
These are like 15 feet, 16 feet.
Well, I guess no, that's a reflection. 15, 16 feet.
This one over here, you can see this one.
These are big, man.
This tank usually is just our permeate tank for our to clean our. The 2 outside ones are for our sap.
Gotcha.
And when we do birch, we usually do maple on one side and birch on the other.
Okay.
This is how deep they are.
60,000 gallon tanks. Somebody needs to get in there with a scrub brush. Is that you?
That's me.
Look at that ladder. Does that thing retract up and down?
Yeah, it's on a winch right there.
Oh, I see it. The Harbor Freight Special. Very cool. This thing's massive.
I want to swim in there.
Can I go down in there? Are you all right with it?
If you want to.
I'm not going to fall or nothing. I just want to show people how big this thing is.
You look so tiny.
Look like an ant.
I'm 6 foot tall.
You're tiny.
Alright, I'm 6 foot tall. This is big. This reminds me of Silence of the Lambs. You know?
You want your lotion in the basket?
Shit on the skin.
Or it gets the hose again.
Yeah.
This is massive.
Make sure you come to the middle too.
Like here?
Yeah. Yep.
Is
On
this
the-
good?
Yep.
On the phone, you look even tinier.
So there's 6,500 acres here. And this tank is 60,000 gallons. How many taps are here, Jason?
Around 97,000. give or take a little bit.
97,000.
97,000 taps. Each one of these tanks are 60,000 gallons. Pretty cool.
This is a good size RO right here. How many ROs do you have?
Right now we have 3.
3?
We have 2 downstairs.
Okay.
This year we got this when we got the Master E, the electric evaporator.
Because this will take it up to higher bricks, right?
Yeah. What I did this year was take it to like 8 from the ROs downstairs, put into one of those 2 tanks up there,
Okay.
and then I would concentrate it from 8 to 25, 26.
So those concentrate tanks there up above?
Yep. Then it would be dumped into this tank right as he's making his muscles.
Did you run the E this year? Really?
Yep.
Huh. How'd you like it?
It wasn't bad once you got the hang of it.
Totally different ball game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's vacuum and it's a whole nother ball game.
It's only I think there's like 15 or 20 gallons of concentrate / sap, whatever, in there at one time.
Does it continuous or does it batch?
It's continuous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the syrup that's in those drums, some of it will be
From that.
nectar.
Yeah. We have a capability of leave it in our kettles overnight
Okay.
and to make it to caramelize more.
I got you. You have kettles somewhere?
Yeah.
Cool. What is this big? So this is like, looks like a vacuum chamber.
That's the Master E.
This is it?
That's it.
Jess is modeling it here.
No. I'm phoning.
This is the Master E.
Yep.
So I saw this at a CDL open house, but it was different looking.
Look on the other side. Because they had the motor in the back.
They did. They had like the
Ours
yes.
is off the side.
Okay.
So.
I got you. Okay, this looks familiar
Yeah.
for sure. The chamber. How about that? Very cool.
There's a big 100 horse motor if you go up those stairs. You can see the 100 horse motor that runs it.
And that's a vacuum pump, right? Or
It's really loud.
yeah. This makes the old electric meter spin, doesn't it?
This back tank here is where we put our sweets in.
So after bottling or
Not so much bottling, but there's usually
cleaning filter press,
filter presses, pans. So
you probably make quite a bit of syrup just from the sweets.
yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
TV's downstairs.
Okay.
One on the right, I usually put up the cameras for like facility, not just here, but for Cobble Hill behind us. It shows you the valves, the releaser, and the tanks. And then Woods House and Pump House have the same thing. So I put them right up there so everybody can see it as they're walking by, and they say, "Oh, that doesn't look right." They can.
It's amazing how much the technology's helped us, isn't it?
And then the one on the left is I usually leave that up for my CDL apps,
So,
the ROs, etc.
so this guy's coming out.
Yep, that guy's coming out. Headed to Franklin, Vermont, I think.
Is it?
Yep.
Look at all that steam piping right there. Whew. Yeah, that's some insulation there.
Typical boil on the Master. It's like 8 or 9 hours.
What's that? A typical boil in the Masters, 8 or 9 hours?
9 hours. And then on this, it's like 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
But it uses a lot of fuel.
This uses more fuel because of the oil to run the boiler.
See, the boiler is huge.
Gotcha.
So,
is the boiler leaving too?
yeah, everything that went with that is.
Now the boiler is supposed to be spec'd with the rig, right? Like came with it.
I think there's. Yeah, I'm not sure, but you'll see it. It's huge.
So what's this little guy down there with the little hood?
That's a mini steam evaporator.
Oh, really?
You see that hole right there?
Yeah.
That we have a pipe that hooks into it and it sucks
Takes
out
it out.
steam. Yep. But
Is that going too?
yeah, not sure. I think with that, it's going.
Gotcha.
That boil, it's pretty small, but
Put a lot through it, huh? Dang. I missed it. I could have snagged that sucker and put it in my evaporator. Used it for boiling down my sweets. Is that what you used it for? Or?
We use it when we do beech syrup too. We used to use it.
Gotcha.
But now we just use the mastery. Yeah, is our bottling line.
I see you got a little chuck capper.
Yeah, that was nice.
Little piston filler? Is that what that is? What is this guy?
That is actually a bag in a box.
A bag in a box.
It does those right there. The 5 foot over there.
Oh, do you still sell quite a bit of this to like food service?
Yeah, some. But
Very cool.
yeah.
Okay, so where does it start? Where's the hot syrup? Is this a bottling line?
This is the bottling line.
So where does the hot syrup come in?
Well, it's got to come in through here.
Yeah, it comes in behind here, and goes into that tank, then it goes through the heat exchanger, and then just fill it and away you go.
Is that your heat exchanger there?
Heat exchanger there, yeah.
So steam goes through the.
Yeah, there's tubes and stuff, and
Yep.
it's all pneumatic. So Travis rigged this up. When it gets to a certain temperature, so the set point's 189. So when it gets there, if this is on, it'll automatically shut off.
I got you.
You don't have to manually do it.
So it's basically controlling your steam.
Yeah.
Which controls your temp.
Yep.
But you probably filter it on the other side of the wall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What we do is we put it in our 1,000-gallon kettle, heat it up, filter it, put it upstairs into like another hopper, and then it gravity feeds down here.
Gotcha.
So
Is it always like this temperature year round since we're underground?
it gets warm in here sometimes.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're running syrup, it's got to get hot.
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice.
I could work in this all day.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's the capper. That was nice.
Chuck capper.
And then the induction sealer is the machine next to it.
Heck yeah, man.
And we have another head that does cone
So what is that guy? A washer?
caps. So it's a groove that goes up like maybe 2 inches and goes down through.
This guy here, what is that?
That's a shrink tunnel
Oh, okay.
run by steam.
I got you.
Parker's brand. Do you have a bottle of Parker? Parker's brand is shrink sleeve.
I got you. Oh, on top of
Yeah.
the squeeze bottle.
Yeah.
You guys have a home for all this?
Yeah.
There it is. So you guys put the sleeve on there.
Yep.
And then it goes through this tunnel.
Yep.
Warms it up.
It just shrinks.
This is the fella I met. This is Josh, right?
Yeah.
He was on Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Yep.
Built his brand pretty much on that cotton candy.
Yeah, we still get. They still do reruns, and we'll get a
Get orders.
influx of orders.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got your ink jetter,
Inkjet. Yep.
case sealer.
Yep. That was down through here, but then the turntable would go on the end of this back conveyor
Sure.
to just accumulate it and.
Gotcha. Parts and pieces. You need that. This is a beautiful sight. That's a beautiful thing right there. Hey, that would happen at our place too. If it can get hit, it will. There's a big old boiler, huh?
Yeah.
That sounds like thunder.
Compared to like for glass, is it like more than 50 cents, or do you think it's less?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No worries.
Are these the squeeze bottles?
Yeah, this is what that Parker brand's in.
I got you.
Those are 16 nines, and those are 8.5 smaller versions.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is probably your number one seller, right? For syrup.
So you don't do any more glass at this facility?
No.
So this is Taylor's first time in a maple operation that's different than ours.
It is.
It's a little bigger.
Yeah, just a smidge.
There's a front pan. Looking brand new, like you've never burnt the one you have.
Never used it.
That's a...
We're gonna use it this year. We had a lot of sap this year, but
Yeah.
we took it down, got it all cleaned up, and didn't use it.
That thing's shiny. Buffed it out. This is the big boiler.
That's the big boiler, yeah.
You can see it right here.
Is this a Cleaver Brooks?
Yep.
It's a big one. They already got it on pipes ready to roll it out of here. Natural gas here. Is this heat for the floor?
Yeah, and floor heating, yeah.
Wow.
Hard.
So these guys will actually push the heat through the pipes, keep the place warm.
Yep. We keep it pretty cool in here during the winter time anyways.
You got natural gas here.
No. Must have converted it over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this is oil?
Propane.
Oh, propane, okay. Because that said natural gas, but that's actually propane as well.
Well, there's propane fires it, and it's fuel oil that runs it.
Oh, okay.
So
Huh. I don't really understand it, but yeah. An Atlas Copco something or other.
That's air compressor for.
Pushing the fuel. That's very cool. So this is, it'll get up to, it's warm. I wonder what temperature this gets up to. Or can it get up to? I need something like this. That's why I'm curious. So what is the story? Like, how did this happen? Where are we at on this, Michael? This is like, I've heard about it.
Yep.
But how did you get here?
So when I was working at Cornell, when I was running the Maple Research Center for Cornell, I was doing a little bit of private consulting as well. And one of my clients had contacted me. He was looking for advice on how to invest in the maple industry. He was moving back to the States. He had been over in Europe for a while. And he loved the Adirondacks, loved Vermont. Spent a lot of his time here growing up. Grew up in the lumber business. His father ran a lumber yard. And so he wanted to invest in the Northeast forest, create jobs up here, and create great products from the forest. And so we met, I think it was 2015.
Wow.
And, we hit it off. We got along really well. Discussed various different opportunities. And I gave him proposals that these are the different types of things you can do. Things progressed. We got some really good opportunities. And I started working a lot more with Dwight than I thought I was going to be. And it got to the point where I was having trouble finding good people to run the operations that we were going to be developing. And so I made a good but difficult choice to give up my job at Cornell to focus on this full time. So I did that in 2017 because I was doing 2 full-time jobs.
Well, you're not doing anyone any good if you just, I've been there.
Yeah.
If you want to take the island, you got to burn the ships.
It's you can either do a lot of stuff poorly or a few things well. And so so I decided to make the leap, and it was quite a leap to go from, I had been running, the Cornell Maple Research Center in Lake Placid was 6,000 taps at the time. And, we did production as part of the research and education. And all the projects were involved in a active working sugar bush. But, that was kind of a small business. We had to support ourselves. Cornell doesn't give you the money to actually take 18% of everything you make.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we had to self-fund. So I had, that was a small business connected to academia, doing research, doing education. And then to come to start a pretty large-scale sugaring operation from scratch was a whole new endeavor. And, my background was economics. That's what I did a lot of my work on at Cornell was economic stuff of maple sugaring. But I had never started a small business. And my business partner, he'd been involved in buying and selling lots of businesses on much larger scales. But starting a small maple business, even though this is a large maple business, it's still a small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there were differences there. And so there was a lot of learning over the years. Obviously made some mistakes, did some good things, and
You learn the most from the mistakes.
you certainly do. Yes.
Now, Michael, there's 97,000 taps here at this location.
Yeah. 97,000 maple, 29,000 birch, about 6,000 beech, and a couple hundred walnut. It's the white walnut butternut.
White walnut? So it's a little different.
People know it either as butternut or white walnut.
I got you.
Juggling scenario. So, like, we don't have much black walnut up here at all.
Is the syrup from black walnut different than the butternut?
A little bit, yeah.
I had some black walnut from a guy up in Wisconsin, and I'm surprised how much I like it.
Yeah, it's got...
The pectin's the problem. It's filtering it.
Filtering out the pectin is definitely an issue. And the yield, you just don't get as much sap
Right.
in a black walnut. So,
And then every time you put a hole in a black walnut tree, I'm pretty sure a lumber guy gets a cold or gets the flu. Something happens.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
they don't like holes in their black walnut,
No.
but this is maybe a tangent, but I did a lot of research and education stuff on black walnut syrup when I was at Cornell. Like a lot of what I did at Cornell was also on the alternative tree species.
Yeah.
And there are things you can do with black walnut to, you know, with vacuum tapping below the lateral line, just tap down below where you're going to cut.
Right. It's not even going to be turned into lumber.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah, you're down below the notch, and so it doesn't impact.
This is definitely a tangent, but I've always wondered this, and you're the guy. So,
Yeah.
you know how, in my lifetime, there's a lot of landowners
Yeah.
that will hear from somebody that you shouldn't tap maples because it's going to affect the lumber value. I consider that bull crap, or what do they call it when they drop leaflets during war? Propaganda. It was like propaganda, so the sawyer or the lumber company or the timber company can scare the landowner.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, you will see that I'm a big proponent of tap hole maple lumber.
I saw that. I am too.
Yeah. And
There's not enough of it, Michael.
and when there's scarcity, the price goes up.
Right.
Okay. And so we sell that for more than the clear lumber.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. The lumber company is going to pay you less and say your logs are worthless. They're only firewood. And then they're going to sell it for more.
It actually has a higher value.
Yeah, because it's got the story of maple behind it.
Well, hold on. You hear that? The tap stained maple has a higher value. All landowners, don't listen to the bull crap.
Yes. The reason it might not is because of all the metal in the tree.
That's old. Like most of technology now is plastic.
Exactly. So as long as you're not putting hardware in the tree and you can do a good metal detector, or you just get it sewn with the bandsaw. I mean, it's $20 for
A blade.
a blade.
Yeah.
So if you hit something, life goes on.
Yeah, but all the taps now, taps now are plastic. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to really hit. I mean, I'm sure if you get a 100-year-old maple that was tapped, there's a good chance, or a greater than 0% chance you could hit a chunk of metal, right?
Yeah.
So,
We actually, you'll see in our Vermont sugar house, we had quite a bit of tap hole maple in there. Our New York sugar house this is more of a like industrial warehouse type of facility. That one is a white pine timber frame with all tap hole maple.
a showpiece.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we ran out of tap hole maple to finish it, and I talked to Bruce Bascom, who was clearing an old sugar bush for a new warehouse, and Bruce saved out all the butt logs. We had those all sold.
That's awesome.
So we have some of Bascom's. Some of those holes Bruce had drilled.
And it was
Vermont sugar.
like the New Hampshire wood was okay being next to the Vermont wood.
It was actually, believe it or not, New York where it brought over to Vermont.
Oh, okay.
It was from the Cornell sugar bush. So we had cut down.
I got you.
And you could actually see the difference of those boards there because all the trees that we had cut was because they were dead and dying. And so the sapwood wasn't as white. You don't have as much a distinction of nice white sapwood with your tap holes. The ones Bruce had cut, those were good, healthy trees. He just needed space for the warehouse.
You ready, Mike?
Let's go.
This sucks, right? I mean, who wants to do this? I don't know. When I tell people for the greatest job in the world, this is why. Nice. Ben, he's smart. He's put a seatbelt on. Yeah. Dang. So there's this. It's not all contiguous 6,500 acres, is what I'm hearing. Or is this contiguous?
About 5,000 of it connects together.
Gotcha. Did you guys have to build these roads and everything?
No, so we built some extra roads, but a lot of the roads were here from the previous logging.
Gotcha.
And so we fixed them up or put in new roads where we wanted to access other areas. So we decided to go overhead here. So last year, we can stop here for a second.
Cool. Oh, this is the bridge.
So that's the bridge that partially washed out last summer with the floods. We used to have a Connex container here.
Okay.
And the way it was originally set up, this was an intermediate pumping station. So that's why we had the transformer. We had 2 tanks in here, 2 transfer pumps, so you could pump from one area to here, this is the low spot, and then go back up to the sugar house. So you could drain here and pump through. What we decided to do was take that out, that was overkill to begin with. We don't need power here anymore, and we just put just a couple drain valves. So now we pump water at the end.
To flush everything.
Flush everything out and let the water drain.
Gotcha.
And so the lines get cleaned, and we don't have to have an extra.
What size lines are those?
That's 3-inch.
3-inch? Wow, I hear water.
Yeah, there's a
I hear it.
alley out work right here. To show you what we did with the.
Is this a speed bump?
So
Just slow you down a little bit?
it keeps the water. Yeah, it's like a water bar. We have to do everything we can to protect the water quality. This is a very important stream.
Wow.
And we're in conservation easement land as well.
Okay.
So we did a lot of extra measures to make sure that we didn't get any siltation on the stream.
I got you.
So this bridge, you can see some of the, you look over here, some of the blocks.
That got washed out?
They used to, because this
wow.
bank, you can see over there, see where the bank, see that's good?
Yeah.
On the other side?
Yeah.
This side got washed out and fell.
Holy cow.
And landed on some rock. And so then we shored it back up, connected it to an anchor over there, and we only now use this half of it because this is the side that's really good. The other side is
you don't want to walk on this side. You want to walk on this side.
on that side, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And this was a state snowmobile trail, and it's okay for us to cross this, but the state has said that the public can't use it.
I gotcha. I don't know why. Jeez.
And so now the state is going to hopefully replace this
That'd be cool.
with a new bridge so they continue to use the snowmobile corridor.
This is beautiful, man. Look at this. Look at that.
Did you just say you're not supposed to go on that side?
Yep.
That's fine. Yeah.
There is 0 3-inch tubing in the state of Ohio, I can tell you that.
So, yeah, we usually have the spare one in case, you have a problem with it.
I
Then
gotcha.
also, birch season overlapped with maple for about a week to 10 days.
Is this sap and vacuum, like wet dry, or is it just like
This is
two?
just pump line.
That's just a pump line?
Yeah.
3-inch pump line, folks. That's how we pump oil in Texas. Probably. I don't know of any 3-inch pump lines in Maple.
We turn the pump on. It's all based on
Oh, it sucks it right out.
like the pump gets started and it shuts off when it gets to a certain level, but it just keeps on siphoning, and depending on the sap flow that day, it could just continue to siphon all day without pumping.
Yep.
Until maybe the level gets so high that it picks the pump back on for the
I gotcha. How many horsepower is that pump?
I think it's 15.
Really? You haven't figured out a way to tap any conifers yet?
No, you can't. But what we did do, which was pretty popular, we just experimented with it. It was a balsam fir infused maple syrup for like sales around Christmas.
Sure. Balsam?
Yeah, because that's the quintessential Christmas tree. It's got the best smell.
I gotcha.
So like in the Northeast, you know, like you heard balsam pillows and
Sure.
stuff in Maine. You would just infuse the branches in the maple syrup, and you get that balsam.
That's interesting.
aroma.
So it tastes like Christmas.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so we did a little bit of that when we were experimenting.
What makes you think that?
So there's two connections. That one has the tanks. This one has the vacuum pumps. And
Oh, there she is. Little Atlas Copco action. Two of them?
two. Yeah.
How many taps are these running?
This is 37,000
This is sweet.
plus the Birch and the Beech.
This is vacuum pump 1. So anybody who's making large production maple syrup, they typically have these, I call them wet screws. These are the wet screw vacuum. There's actually oil that keeps the screws lubricated. The guys that are making 6, 7, 8 pounds, that's what they use. So these are the pumps that are pushing the sap too.
Yeah. So doubled up. So either pump can run to either line.
Gotcha.
Okay. And some.
I see that. And then we also, this is insulated.
Yeah.
So we're inside a Connex, but I could tell you guys have put insulation,
Yeah.
put some OSB on the walls, so this stays, it's protected.
And there's a heater in the back.
I see it.
Keep it.
It probably doesn't take much. You could heat this place with a candle.
Yeah.
This is awesome. There's a lot of sap running here. So 37,000.
Yeah. And so this is the maple releaser.
So you said how many different trees? This is the only system in the world that has 3 trees, 3 different
So
types.
this is maple, birch, beech.
Okay, so maple, birch, and beech, and you.
Yeah.
Okay, birch, beech.
Yeah.
Maple, beech, birch.
Yeah. And that is the northern hardwood forest up here. Up here, the maple, beech, birch forest.
Gotcha.
Those are the top 3 common species. Obviously, everybody knows maple. Birch is won't get natural sap flow. People make decent amount of birch syrup in the world. We're the only commercial producers of beech syrup at this point that I'm aware of.
I gotta try it at some point. Like it's
When we
beech.
get back to the sugar house.
I want to try it definitely. So beech. Listen, if you're expecting maple from birch, I think that's where I always get caught. I'm expecting maple. It's just a nuttier.
Well, the birch generally has, in the way most people make it, it's got a very strong molasses flavor, very fruity molasses flavor. We made some birch syrup. We tried when we went back to Sugar House. Made some birch syrup this year on the Master E. Because it never gets above 180 degrees Fahrenheit, we don't caramelize the sugars. There's different types of sugars in birch.
Gotcha.
Glucose and fructose, not the sucrose. So when you make it on a regular maple evaporator, it gets very dark, very
Gotcha.
strong, all that molasses flavor.
No kidding.
On the Master E, it comes out light and fruity, delicious.
Really?
It's like a completely
That's the way to do it then.
Yeah.
Well, you're the only one that knows this.
Well, for now.
Yeah.
So, but it's really an amazing syrup.
That's interesting.
You know, I remember when I first started doing birch syrup at Cornell, some of the stuff we made initially was just awful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I didn't know why anybody would ever want to produce it or eat it. And as we've learned, and as technology has progressed, now we can make some really delicious, incredible birch syrup.
Now, beech. I think in Ohio we've got beech just dying, or it's
Yeah.
got some sort of blight,
It's
or
got the beech bark disease.
Okay.
So this is the only spot on our, we have close to 6,000 acres. This is the only spot on it that we tap the beech because 30 years ago there was 30, 35 years ago, there was what's called a shelter wood cut, where they, left 30 to 40 of the best trees, and then everything else got cut. And that, when it grew back to quite a, there's a decent amount of beech in that. It's got maple.
Beech kind of grows up through the root system, right? It's different.
It will sprout out of the root system, but also,
Beech nuts and.
well, it's not going to come out of the nuts, but when you open up the forest like that, it'll go fast.
I got you.
It can normally just grow out of the root system in a shady forest and not really grow. But these trees have been growing fast because there was enough sunlight
Gotcha.
over the last bit. So now they're like about all that size, we'll see. And they're just about the small enough size to start that. But they're
Gotcha.
still healthy-ish. They don't have the beech bark disease.
And are they like kind of isolated to where it won't transfer? Well, how does it transfer?
The beech bark disease?
Yeah.
They're scale insects.
So the insects are going to get there eventually.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all going to die.
I got you.
So we're just getting use out of them before they die.
Gotcha.
Because the big old ones are all dying.
Yeah. Oh, we noticed it in our woods.
Yeah. You get further west, there's some really healthy beech stands. And that's where I think you can make some really good beech syrup and probably do it at a
I gotta try this
beech
beech syrup.
scale because we don't get a high yield.
Okay.
Like that releaser is way overkill for the amount of beech sap we get.
No, you want to be ready. You built it for growth. You built it for growth. So, is this the amount of gallons?
So that would have been 241,540 gallons of birch sap.
Okay. I wasn't sure if, being a research scientist, if this was in liters.
Oh. No, I'm still in America.
Yeah. I like it. 241,000. We're in a giant metal box in a thunderstorm. But I noticed we got the AED. So we'll be okay. Does this have enough for everybody if we get shocked here?
We can reuse the pads.
Yeah. I was going to say, if
There's hail in
we're
it.
okay. Is it really? Hail? Wow. This is if you get a little liquid in your old line. You don't want it in here. The only thing is, these are slow.
Yeah.
They're like,
So this is compressed air that when the power goes out, that'll shut. So that
I got you.
Can't get through.
I got you.
That's going to be the.
Because there's head pressure on this side, right? Because is it pumping up a mountain?
No, it's
It's just going into the tanks right over there.
I got you.
Yeah, so there comes. There's a releaser coming out of. And sends it up over into the tanks over there. But and we have had power go out here and sap get by.
What is
Before
the
we said.
tags? That's 224, 225.
So every valve is
Numbered.
So you can have an SOP to say close 224, open 217, whatever, depending on what you need to do.
Gotcha.
Okay, and so when you have a large operation with multiple employees, having SOPs that that are easily followable to understand what you want to do, it's mostly for safety. And
Gotcha.
Our biggest accident here, second year we were in operation, we had somebody was pumping down the wrong line. They had the wrong valve closed and open.
You get tired. It's easy to do.
And so you had pressure built up 5 miles on a 3-inch pipe. And he opened up the pipe and it exploded in his face. And that was our biggest, worst accident by far.
No
And
kidding.
We've been,
It's dangerous.
yeah, so we're just hyper-focused on safety and process to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. Again.
It's easy to do. You guys have you're like your own road crew.
Yeah, we have
Graders.
track dumper, excavator, dozer, loader. We're doing a lot of road work right now. You'll see up here, we brought in a mobile crushing unit last,
Is that so you could take stones and make it into
I'll show you
usable
what we have up
gravel?
here. We haven't been able to get up here to fix this yet, so this is all still, this road still needs a lot of repair from floods last summer.
Gotcha.
And we're working on a Vermont property in June, and then we'll be back up here. One of the issues was getting across that bridge with all the equipment, so we have to go around
and we only want to do that once. So, so we were able to bring the crusher up here through the alternate thing, and we're going to use all this material
Gotcha.
here that we made, and then some more up there to fix up all the.
So you'll screen it. So you got like,
But we're not going to screen it. We're just going to put it down.
because it's got enough rock and.
Yeah.
What is the coolest wildlife thing like animal you've seen out here?
Probably moose.
You've seen a moose here?
Yeah.
No kidding. Did you run?
When you see a moose in the wild, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
little, you know.
That's awesome.
So that's where all that gravel came from.
I got you. So you got your own gravel pit?
This was a landing area for the old logging that took place here. We used
I
the
got you.
staging area to put in all the tubing.
I mean, how far back are we at this point? A mile? Half mile?
Yeah.
It's freaking pretty.
I mean, look at the water coming down this road from the storm.
Oh yeah.
We still have a lot of work to do to get this all fixed up. You kind of see how it's widely scattered large maple with a second age class of
I see it.
everything in like 5 to 7 inches that's been growing over the last 30 to 35 years. So this is the area where there's a decent amount of beech in that 5 to 7 inch class. The maple and the birch aren't big enough to tap yet. If we have more time, we will. Actually, some of the birch are, but because they grow a little faster than the maple. And when we were putting in the tubing, we also had more markets for birch sap than we could supply at the time. So we were just trying to be a little bit more aggressive on tapping. But we've since removed a lot of those taps on the smaller birch. But we'll go in here and show you the, how we designed the system to accommodate the 3 different species.
That's cool. How long after you walked this land did you know?
Well, you know what got me excited about this land, and I'll see if we can see any. I was here in the spring, and a lot of the forest was a carpet of ramps.
Oh, really?
And up here, where you have wild ramps or leeks, it's the best indicator of a good site. They only grow on the best sites up here, and the maples do extremely well
Interesting.
when you have ramps. And then also, we sell a lot of ramp leaves as well now. The maple 1 inch, we did. We were experimenting with the pre-lash at the time. Okay, so this isn't an ideal example because this was an after the fact. Let's make this work. Okay, I'll tell you how we could do it. If we knew we were going to do maple, birch, and beech right here, we would have done it a little bit differently.
How would you have done it?
I would have just run the wire and then tie up the 1 inch maple, the 3/4
Underneath it,
and the 3/4 for the
all with one wire.
Yeah, because these are too long,
Gotcha.
and you would only need one over everything, not on each one.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, how many people are doing this?
I believe we're the only.
So you're teaching everyone else what not to do. Good job.
And this is actually the first stuff we installed.
I got you.
Yeah,
So how old is this?
This is Cobble Hill A4. So we did the A system first. This is the 4th main line that we
Gotcha.
put in. And this was done in 2017, 2018. Actually, we started tubing installation before we started construction on the sugar house.
No
That
kidding.
summer.
Well, you kind of were held up a little on that, weren't you?
There were permitting stuff and getting power and everything. So we broke ground in September on the sugar house, and we were putting in tubing here in July. And we got about 30,000 in that first year.
That's a lot for a year, you know.
Yeah, especially for a new operation.
Yeah, because you had all the infrastructure too.
Yeah.
So now I bet you the second 30,000 was easier.
Not necessarily. I can tell you what we're doing now is easiest because we're just putting in enough tubing every year to keep the guys busy while they're here.
Gotcha.
We have we bring in Jamaicans through the H2A program, and while they're here, they want to work. And so let's just say all the trees are tapped on February 20th, and we're waiting for SAP to run the leak check between February 20th and March 5th. You got 2 weeks there to
I got you.
busy doing tubing. Or, you know, we do fall maintenance days starting in early November, and maybe we finish up by December 5th. So before we start tapping on January 2nd, we'll do tubing installation December 5th to January 2nd. And having it done in-house with your own guys who know what they're doing and are going to work the system, it's so much better than, from my perspective, from hiring an outside crew to come in that it's not there.
Because they're the ones that are going to have to maintain it.
Yeah.
If it takes a little extra effort to do something, you'll do it because you know you're the guy doing the maintenance.
And they get better at it.
Gotcha.
You know, and you're going to be better at leak checking if you're the one who installed the tubing.
Speaking of leaks, one of those things in season.
So the leaks have already died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they come up, they're the first thing to come up in the spring. Like you see right now you see a lot of fern. And
Yep.
this isn't one of the areas, there's some leaks in here, but this isn't a heavy area.
Gotcha.
Because where you have fern, you generally don't have a lot of leaks.
Okay.
Ramps, I mean, when we're talking about maple, we should not say leaks.
Oh, that was just my transition. It was just funny to me, even though it's a completely different spelling, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 E's, yeah.
I was going to say, what'd you think of that transition?
So the wild ramps or leaks, they come out, you know, sometime in April.
There's only like 2 weeks, isn't there? Like, it's not long.
It's not well. Once the leaves come on the trees, then you don't get the light to the
Gotcha.
floor, and so then they start to die back.
I mean, they have a lot of value if you can get volume.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and what we do is we don't dig up many bulbs. We have some customers, actually for replanting.
Oh, okay.
Well, we sell a lot of the leaves though every year to a spice company.
I got you.
So we cut the leaf. We just, you know, there's 2 leaves on each bulb, and we take one of those leaves. The other leaf can continue to photosynthesize, puts that energy back in the bulb. That bulb comes back year after year.
Gotcha.
So we can keep that understory of the wild ramps. You know,
You guys are forest farmers.
that's our
Yeah.
deal. Yep. Yeah. So there's a good potential for even more of that. If we can, you know, we're just selling to one spice company now, but if others want to do it, you know, we have, you know, here in New York, we have 12 guys who just work the season. They want to stay longer. If we can get more markets for that, then we would pick more.
Gotcha.
You know, and it's just that
So, yeah, right after the maple season ends, it's leak time, right?
basically, yeah. After birch season ends.
I got you. We got to get our priorities straight.
So when maple's coming to an end is when we start to tap the birch.
Why does the birch run so much later?
It's based on root pressure. The soil has to warm up, and it's the sap is getting pushed up to get ready for the leaves to come.
So the way the root system of a birch tree works is just so different than a maple.
Just the sap flow mechanism is
Gotcha.
is based on root pressure, not tree pressure differential.
And then with birch, it's like there's actually a life cycle of the tree, right? You're not gonna like do it for 100 years. The trees don't even live that long, right?
Well, the yellow birch can live just as long as sugar maple,
Okay.
but the paper birch generally doesn't.
Which ones do you tap?
Mostly yellow birch. I'd say we're by 75% yellow birch.
What do they have in Alaska?
Alaska's white birch.
Okay, so that's why they die. That's how I know. I'm just watching YouTube videos and they die.
Yeah.
They don't have a long life cycle
You
out
don't
there.
compartmentalize the wound as well either.
Gotcha.
So,
How can you tell the difference between a white and a paper or
okay,
white
right over here. Let's check
And a yellow.
This is actually a great example. You know, here's one. As you can see, I told you the guys were a little too aggressive on installing. This is our paper birch.
Gotcha. So this is the stuff that when you tap it, it's just not as, it doesn't compartmentalize.
Exactly. And this is really too small a tree to be tapping.
Yeah, okay.
So we came back and said, cut out that drop line, just put a connector in. You
Gotcha.
shouldn't be tapping anything that small. Okay, but that's a paper birch, and then
Do you call it a paper birch because of the folding on the bark there?
yeah,
I got
paper
you.
purple or white birch. Is
I
also
got you.
called. Yeah.
This is the stuff that's really easy to see. Like it just stands out in the woods because it's white.
Yeah, yeah. And then you go up further, and you know, like these are the yellow birch.
They don't have the paper rolls.
Yeah.
You could tell it's definitely a different color.
The other way you tell the difference, this is, you know, when you're camping, this is a fun thing to do. I take this twig right here. But if you sniff that.
I don't sniffing something. Oh, it's like a root beer kind of.
Yeah, it's got oil of wintergreen in it. That's only in the yellow birch. It's
This tastes like the bubble gum my wife gets. It's the blue pack
Polarized?
Orbit.
yeah.
This smells like Orbit.
Yeah.
Mike sniffing.
So it's
Does it
either
smell like Orbit? Delicious Orbit.
Makes it
either yellow birch or black birch, which is also known as sweet birch, are the two species that have the oil of wintergreen in it. And they used to distill it from there. but
Okay.
Now it's all
Synthesized.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that is wintergreen. Okay. Oil of wintergreen. In the yellow birch. It's not in the white though.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some other interesting stuff here. I'll show you. Okay, so here's a beech.
Gotcha.
Okay,
I see a couple tap holes there.
The beech close their tap holes amazingly fast.
Okay.
They have faster tap hole closure rate than the maple. We use this gray we want to have green for birch, blue for maple, which are basically what's available. But
Sure.
we could also wound up we're able to get some of this gray stuff.
And just so everybody knows, these 3 different color tubing are going to 3 different species of tree.
Yeah.
And then going to the same main line.
Well, they have their own main
Gotcha.
lines, same wire.
Same vacuum pump. Oh, they even have their own releaser. That's right.
They have their own releaser. They share the same vacuum pump.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the beech is not going to give you sap unless you have high vacuum.
Okay.
So we don't start to tap the soil has to be thawed, and you have to have high vacuum before we tap the beech, because that's the only way we're getting sap.
When does the beech run compared to?
So typically, you know, we're tapping all of our maple January and February to get those 100,000 taps in. Sap will start running here in early March. I'd say a typical year. We'll start tapping beech after we get all of our leaks fixed. Once we have 27 inches on the maple, that's when we'll go and tap the beech. Because we don't want to...
Does the beech and birch run about the same time?
No.
This is later than even the birch.
So the beech you can run whenever...
You run a maple?
Well, whenever the ground is thawed. Because all you're doing is you're putting vacuum on this tree and sucking water through the roots. And you need high vacuum to do that.
I got
If you were
you.
to just drill the hole, tap the tree, you get nothing.
So this is really kind of on top of the maple season,
Yes.
which makes it really convenient for you.
They love it. They want me to find more trees.
Yeah.
Tap, yeah.
Look at this. Right here. You know what they call this, Mike? This is a son of a beech. Yeah. Here's more where that came from.
You're so punny.
Yeah. Ooh, even that was good.
Let me show you something else. We recently switched out. Okay. So we just changed our drop lines,
Okay.
and we have, these are the ones,
I've not seen this before.
okay, these are the ones that, it's a bigger cup. If you didn't have that gasket, that extra rubber gasket, then it's just going to like wobble around in there.
I got you.
You put that gasket on, put that in, now that's tight.
I got you.
Okay, and this is what they use for the alcohol cleaning in Canada.
I got you.
We're not able to do that in the U.S. yet, but I'm hopeful, confident that we will get that permission. And so when we switched out our drop lines, I put those in.
Because you figure that permission's coming.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make organic syrup in Canada using isopropyl alcohol.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. But when you cross that border,
It's
no longer
Change.
organic. Yeah, I haven't seen this stuff yet.
and I'll tell you what we used to have for drop lines. And we kept them on the beach because I didn't really care that much.
That's unique.
Okay. So this is just the
Little
the
gasket.
Okay, so this is a removable drop line that in the off season you can just clip that off, and so you can have it theoretically tight.
Gotcha.
Okay, so rest of the season, no leaks in the system. We can do our fall maintenance. We can turn the vacuum pump on and have 27 inches of vacuum everywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
we can take these drop lines in, sanitize them the way you want to sanitize them, which is long contact time with bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Do a good job rinsing them. Probably switch out the spout,
Sure.
and then come back in when we go to tap. All you do is you untwist it, twist it back on. You just put that there, and then now you have a sanitized drop line.
Gotcha.
That
What is the second one for?
This right here?
Is that where? No. Yeah. What is this?
Oh, that's just to hold this in place. And this is just a cap. So this caps this off.
Sure. Why is there two holes? I don't even know.
This hole right there?
Yeah.
That's not really a hole.
Oh, it's a holder. I gotcha. So that's the cap holder.
Yeah, you just put that.
I was like, man, this is really complex.
Right there. Yeah. Okay, so we had CDL make this for us. We put in over 100,000 of them, and we switched out over 100,000.
Really?
And the reason why is because they worked phenomenal the first year, but then plastic changes over time.
And it doesn't seal?
The micro leaks.
Gotcha. So you're gonna get ice right there everywhere you got
Right. Not everywhere. It's just, and all it takes is 1%.
one. Sure.
But if you have 1% of your spouts
You're
up there,
blocking a lot of stuff because your actual ice ball will be down there in your main line.
at the main line.
Yeah.
And so when we're out leak checking and we find it's just because of this, that's extremely frustrating. You can see widely scattered maples that we're tapping. There's one, well, they left two there. There's one down there. I see another. They're every 40 to 50, maybe 60 feet apart.
So it's pretty big gaps.
Huge gaps in the light. You can see what grew up is mostly right in here. You see a lot of red maple, yellow birch, some beech. There was enough beech that this is where we wanted to. This is the spot that we could put in the beech taps, a sugar maple, and cherry, and some ash. So we this wound up. This is a very successful shelterwood harvest.
Gotcha.
Normally, in a regular forestry situation now, you would go in and you do what's called the overstory removal. Now you would take the trees that were left, those were the seed trees, then you go in, you harvest them, and now you have this age class of all these vigorous trees. You might do some pre-commercial thinning on these. If we have more time, we would do that, but...
so these were the trees that were left when they timbered, the bigger maples.
The bigger maples that we're tapping, yeah.
And they were able to grow fast because it was like, is that called a release or...
Yeah, so they grew faster because now they didn't have competition.
Gotcha.
They're healthy.
But so did the understory, right?
In the understory, there used to be tens of thousands of seedlings in here. And we got here, luckily, 30 years later when they had grown up and started to thin themselves out. 10 years after this was done, you couldn't walk through it.
It'd be a lot of, what do they call it, multifloral rows and...
No, we're not getting that here.
Oh, really?
That's an Ohio thing.
It's another country.
Like Western New York or
Yeah.
whatever. In the Adirondacks, we don't get there's no invasive species here. It's basically maple, beech, birch, cherry, ash. So we've tapped this tree for 7 years now. Okay. And I can show you every year that we tap the tree, we're supposed to put a dot of paint right below the
I was
tap.
wondering what that was.
Okay. So
That's why you got blue and... Okay.
different.
Do you carry a marker with you, like a paint marker and
a little
dabber?
paint can?
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from here to here, in those 7 years, we use up that much of the tree.
Gotcha.
The idea is that we're just going to keep on going around, and by the time we get to here,
It'll have grown over it.
hopefully,
I gotcha.
we try to go inch to inch and a half to the left or right, and then 8 to 12 up and down. Get away from it. From the previous hole. If we go too fast, if we're moving too far to the right, like between there and there is 2 inches.
Gotcha.
By the time we
They
get
were
here,
off by a half inch on that one.
So they're going to get in trouble. So in which case, this one is, I just came to this one randomly. There are a couple here, like, see, in between this one and this one, I would stick a hole right there.
Let me see that. This is good to know.
Okay. So we have,
You would put one right here?
not right there, I see, because we have that distance, right?
Yep. I
I would go down here,
I got you.
okay?
You'd be below the lateral line.
I would pull the lateral down.
Attaboy. That fixes it.
But with high vacuum, you can also tap below.
You can, yeah.
But we see, if we look at this lateral is going, we have, these
There's plenty of slope here,
yeah, you can pull this down and get your slope.
I got you. It's true. I thought it'd be funny to tease you there.
Well,
I was going to say, just move the tree.
yeah. Yeah, and so this is one of the trees that was left in that shelter wood cut too. I mean,
Yeah, that's a nice one there. That's a gallon of syrup, buddy.
in
What do you think? Half gallon? What's that?
Ohio. Maybe. We haven't tapped the birch every year, and you can see, this is a tree that also probably should not have been tapped.
Paper birch.
This is a yellow birch, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
With papery.
Because paper birch.
All right, I'm confused now.
Yeah, the yellow birch will also be papery,
I
but it's
got
a
you.
yellow color. So,
You can tell by looking, though.
yeah.
I can see it.
And there's just way more yellow birch than there is paper birch.
I wouldn't even use the word paper with any of my team.
Just say white birch.
Yep, white and yellow, because if you say paper, Nate is going to say this is it's paper.
Yep.
So we're going to fix this up because this is part of the state snowmobile corridor. You see that sign, sharp curve, up
Yep.
there to the left. And
See, as soon as the state stuff starts, then you get your signage.
we buried the tubing under the road there, built up
Gotcha.
around to go over.
This is cool, man.
You've got to keep, to get around this many acres, you got to keep the road.
Access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the crew probably went back.
Oh, yeah. They had Benny. Yeah. They had Benny. He was working them over.
Well, this is going to be the next.
Sugar bush.
Well, the next species we do. No, we already tapped in there, but you can see the aspen in the crowns.
You're gonna try some aspen.
Yeah. So
Isn't an aspen a form of maple?
no, it's I don't know what.
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah. No, actually, Cornell did some trials this spring in Lake Placid with some aspen there, and
Did you try some?
it was delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
So, favorite tree syrup? What's number one for you?
Well, maple. You gotta.
Yeah,
stick to
and then
maple.
what's number two?
I would say walnut.
Yeah, me too. I haven't had one. Like the walnut tasted like floral, like a violet to me. It was good.
I do also love the birch syrup we're making now. The mastery birch syrup.
I'm very curious in that. You've changed the process from what I've tasted. No one else has done it, so
Yeah.
I got to test my taster. I definitely want to try it.
Yeah, that's really phenomenal. So. But the next species we do when we get to it will be the aspen. We have a couple groves of aspen here that they grow fast. They came in after that cutting 35 years ago, so they're ready to tap now, and it'll be
Interesting.
one more thing to do in the sugar.
Absolutely. Another color of tubing.
I'll have to go with yellow.
Something different.